Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. And consciousness thoughts definitely attract to us what we most focus on. So I wanted to go into this a little bit deeper because I see comments, and of course, I've had great experiences overseas in combat zones, and as earthquakes and volcanoes and wars and civil unrest and so forth because of political, ideological beliefs on one side and the other are starting to really come up and starting to impact a lot of us. So, I've seen comments where people come in and say, they laugh at, some of the things that I'm predicting. I predicted a lot of stuff over the years and saved, I would say, probably millions and millions of lives, right? And help people, get clarity, focus, calmness in their lives. But I still see, even when I was, involved in the SEAL teams and in the CIA, I would, guide people and some of the people I work with and some of my team members of upcoming events because my consciousness is, expanded. I can focus on things that most people don't even comprehend or can understand. So all of us have this capability, but some choose not to, go there and discount and often criticize those that can go there and have proven over and over again, like I would do among my teams, that these capabilities are absolute and that all of us have them. So a lot of, combat has a way of really determining, consciousness and so forth. I've talked about this over the years, how a lot of the guys, that would make fun of me, sometimes, usually behind my back, because that's very rare for someone to criticize me, not criticize me, but to make fun of me or be, abusive in front of me. Very rarely happens. And usually it doesn't end well. So that is, one of the things that I've noticed over the years, that the people that, are critical, because I'm tapped into a source to help people, to guide people, and to bring people to higher realizations and understanding, and get out of harm's way often, or stay out of harm's way. And when I see criticisms, that's all right. I can handle that. I can talk through that. I can explain through that. But when I see outright, abusive comments and so forth, I've learned over the years just to, block those people that do that. But I still see people, making those comments. I would get those, like I said, overseas, in combat zones. A lot of the guys that did that are dead, right? And because they attracted to them that which they were criticizing, they thought that anger was good, gave them power. That did not. It attracted to them what they focused on. So we're all conscious beings. Our frequency, our thought frequency, our emotional frequency. I'll show you guys in a minute the heart math frequencies of the mind and the heart incoherence, where you're thinking loving thoughts or positive thoughts, and they combine with your thoughts. So you're emotionally in a loving state. I talk about that all the time. Stay in the love vibration. It's very, very important, I think, as we start to move forward, because our thoughts attract to us and what we most think of. And I know some people are like, well, I do not want to be in a place where there's going to be an earthquake or a tsunami or wars or, but you're focused on that. You're constantly thinking, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. And what does your mind and your body and your environment hear? They hear that, and that's what attracts to you. All right. So this is a concept that's very hard for a lot of people. We, as a collective, create our environments. So if you're living in a place that's run down, dirty, you have criminals that are running in and out of your neighborhoods, or shooting people on the streets and so forth. That is something that has been attracted to that area, right, through consciousness. And of course, that can be turned around if the local people that are there, decide that that's enough, and they get involved and they start to attract to them what they want to experience. So as we raise in consciousness, this is definitely a consciousness thing. We're seeing the sun is impacting us with a lot more energies and so forth. We're seeing that we're having people that are being MK Ultra'd or lied to, and they believe in the lies and so forth, and they're attracting to them these situations, environments, and so forth that they all move towards. Now, we have talked about the deep state, and the deep state, how it controls the news and controls politicians and controls the educational system, the medical system, and on and on and on. So how does that happen? The way that happens is if they convince enough people to believe in the lies, the disinformation, the outright horrific things that they're trying to attract into our environment. They have to have enough people to attract that. It's a given. It's not something I'm making up out of the blue. Our thoughts attract. So if they get enough people believing in a certain situation, that's one of the reasons why I come out a lot, because there's some people that are out, you're always so negative. It's not that I'm negative, it's that I'm exposing what is they're trying to bring into our consciousness, into our environments. So our consciousness brings into our environment what we most think of. What they convince us is, and you're like, well, I don't think that at all. How about the people around you, right? And this is another reason why I want to bring this up, because the people that were negative in combat zones, like I said, are dead. They weren't around me, right? And those in my group over time, we would push people out that would have that type of mentality. We knew that it attracted. So it was very, very important for us to surround ourselves with like-minded, very focused, very high-end people, that understood, how what you're focused on is what you're going to attract. So people at high ends through merit have reached that level through their focus, right? You can't, sometimes think if you're a professional, let's take a professional sports, which are compromised quite a bit as well. But let's take someone that is moving to that level of high end achievement. Do you bring somebody into that environment that's a negative thinker, and it's like, oh, I don't think we're going to win? There's probably some teams out there that get stuck in that type of mentality, and those are the losing teams, of course. And then there's some that are just like just all winners. They all think winning. They strive to win. They work out hard together. They work together. They're a team, and so forth, and they achieve great things. It was the same thing when I was in SEAL teams, when I was in the CA, the teams, the groups that I work with, very, very high level, very, very skilled. And you don't get to that level by being a naysayer and everything. So in some things, some of those guys were, of course. But, that's for the most part, like I've said in the past, they didn't understand what I was doing. But they're open-minded enough to go, all right, if you see something, let us know, and we'll address things accordingly. We won't be on the streets. And then, the explosions happen on that street on the day and the time that I said. So some of the things that I've been predicting have been coming through as far as like the local environments. I said a couple months ago that I saw a typhoon hitting Hawaii, and somebody in the chat was like, typhoons don't hit Hawaii. They're hurricanes hitting Hawaii. Because why? because in the Pacific they're typhoons, but if they're hitting Hawaii, because that's a U.S., we in the U.S. are hurricane focused, it's going to be a hurricane that hits Hawaii. So I was, okay, well, typhoon, hurricane, whatever it is, it's going to be a storm and it's going to hit Hawaii. So as we're seeing, there is a hurricane hitting the big island of Hawaii, and it's had a big impact there. Lots of rain. The rains are probably going to continue to impact the rest of the island chain as well. So how does that serve humanity that I bring that up, a couple of months ago? Well, people start to prepare. People can start to pray, because part of me was like, that could be a biggie. That could be a Cat 2, which would obviously cause more damage, leave more rain and so forth. There's a lot of us that prayed. I think that the level of that storm was reduced, and it was pushed probably further out because of that prayer and consciousness. So again, thoughts and emotions will, create a positive outcome. Now, because they come in, this is another thing that, we need to be aware of. Yes, the storm's coming, and then they're going to ramp it up. It's like, oh, it's going to be, flooding and blah, 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 blah. One person unfortunately died from flooding in a car accident. Who knows? Maybe more will perish, or maybe more have already perished. I don't know. Cat 1 for Florida is like we're yawning. If you're living in Florida, Cat 1 is like, oh, we're going to get some pretty good rain. Once it starts to move up into this 2 and 3 categories, then it's a little bit concerning that people are leaving the coastline and going inland or going to a different location. When Hurricane Helene came in, we had to go all the way, because we came into St. Petersburg. We're all the way on the other side, far north, and not St. Petersburg, but St. Augustine, and a really nice location. Had a nice hotel, Hilton, right on the beach. So we're enjoying it. And then they ran us out of there. They're like, we're going to get, from the next hurricane that's coming in, we're going to get, winds that are going to come in from our angle all the way down. So we had to go all the way up into Georgia. So it is, once these storms start coming in, then people can get really concerned. I think there's manipulation that goes on as well. Our consciousness, will make a difference going forward. So earthquakes. There's many of us that have been predicting and warning of massive earthquakes in California coming. I'm almost convinced they're coming. I see them. I've seen them for a while. They're so intense and so happening in my, when I look at it, I thought they were coming last year. They were so intense. But as time goes on, can we, calm that? There is a possibility. So that's why we raised the warning for that. But so we're raising the warning for that, and then there's all these people in California get these warnings all the time. It's like, it's 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, yeah, it's 6. Then we start to get a little concerned there. But our earthquake, whatever in California, fires, whatever, rain, flooding, whatever, that's part of California life. But this one is on another category. So you'll get people that are very negative, and there's a lot of negative things that are going on in California. The political system is extremely, extremely bad in California. You have, the Hollywood scene is extremely negative. So that attracts negative guys, right? So you can be one of the most beautiful souls in the world, but if you're in an area where there's a bunch of pirates that go out and rape, pillage, and plunder, like pretty much a lot of California is, then you're going to be stuck in an area where there could be some problems, and that's why you need to be aware of the people that are around you as well, right? So, and again, that's why we would not let people in our groups that were very negative. First of all, they rarely got to that level to begin with, but if they were negative, then we were like, you need to go somewhere else. And they usually went somewhere else and they were killed. All right. Because they had that frequency, they had that vibrational thought, they're attracting to them, they think they're badasses and they're going to, like, kick some ass. No. Right. So you're either offensive and going in and taking care of business, or you're defensive, which is the worst position to be in, and having things happen to you and you're reacting to those things happening to you. Eventually you're overwhelmed. All right. And this is what I would teach in my fighting skills. So the fighting skills, I've taught thousands of people, a lot of them special forces and so forth, in the way of thought consciousness, because the thought consciousness, has to be at a certain level. You can't be a defensive fighter, right? You have to be an offensive fighter, right? To be, really evolved and excellent in your fighting and so forth. Defensive fighting, defensive fighters always are overcome by an offensive fighter or multiple offensive fighters, right? I can take on a large group of people as an offensive fighter. And I've shown that over and over again in my fighting skills and teaching other people. I can see when people would move into that consciousness state where they were able to take on, multiple attackers and so forth. I could see the shift in their bodies, their thinking, their views, their way they breathe, the way they moved. You as a collective, I'm speaking to, the general population, that's ideally where you want to be, with a consciousness state where you're able to, see the environment and adapt to the environment, and before it even happens a lot of times, because, I move around a little bit, right? So every 2-3 years, I'm moving someplace different. I would like to, be in one place and, not move anymore. But it's the way, I've chosen, the things that I've chosen to do to relay this information from the deep state side. It is not, they're not happy with this, right? So there's all kinds of different things they throw at me. And, I shuck and jive and move and keep moving. And, I'm not affected because I've learned how to do that. So it's very important to, take that type of mentality. Now, I just recently did an event. It's a LifeWave event where I showed everybody this consciousness state. Now, the LifeWave product, I believe, is a product that actually helps your consciousness. And many of us have talked about this and how it basically, it was made by David Schmidt, who is in touch with God, like I am in touch with God. And he got a download of what would help humanity in different ways, energetically, consciousness wise, different physical, adjustments and so forth that happen with the patches. So they're made with love. So you put a love frequency patch on you, and you're, a lot of us, get, swayed by events that are happening in the world. And this brings you back into that high consciousness state. So the fields of energy that are out there are, like I said, are very important. And so let me show you energetic. This is heart math information. I've studied this. They have these devices that heart math has, and you learn how to adjust your thinking and your heart rate, and you become calm. And it shows up on these graphs. You can play games where you can move, boats or balloons and so forth through your consciousness. If your consciousness is not at the right state, then the balloons don't move, they sink. Then you bring your consciousness state back, and you learn how to activate your heart and brain coherence and move in the right field. So the heart's electrical field is about 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical activity generated by the brain. So everybody, I've taught this for years. It's very tough. This is why I would teach the guys in the hand-to-hand course how to adjust their thinking to focus on love. You're fighting out of love for yourself because people want to harm you. That's not good. So you don't want to be harmed. So you're able to help humanity, help your team, help your family, whatever it might be, by staying in that love vibrational field, because the amplitude and your field of energy increases, and this allows you, as I would show everybody through muscle testing, this allows you to stay in high thought processes. You go from beta brain waves, which are basically for thinking and taking in information, but not so much for movement and higher intuitive states of consciousness, like I'm talking about, where I was able to tap into weeks in advance attacks that were coming. So you and like I just talked about for the hurricane, typhoon, as I said earlier, but the hurricane that was coming for Hawaii months before it happened, right? Putting out that warning, and people, either listened to it or they didn't. Now, staying in that consciousness state, watching the vibrational fields, feeling the vibrational fields, which I do, of the earth, and the sun and the cosmic rays that come in when the earth is in or the sun is not really pushing out a lot of energy, which is a grand solar minimum. So during solar minimums, cosmic rays are able to come in, and they really can impact the earth and cause massive earthquakes, volcanoes, and so forth. And we're moving into one of those fields now. And I've talked about how this will continue into 27 and be even more intense. And I just saw a gentleman that talks about this. He's talking about how it's going to spike massively. And there's the science that I was picking up on a frequency level. So you don't need to know the science all the time, but I like the science. I like the analytical process. But if you're stuck in the analytical process, you're going to miss these higher frequencies that will allow you to have more insight on things that are coming in your field of consciousness. It happens in everything, guys. Whether you're in a relationship, whether you're trying to build better income, whether you're trying to stay healthy, whether you're trying to have better relationships with your coworkers, any of your family members, all of this is part of higher frequency thinking. All right. So this is where the heart comes in this higher frequency thinking, because the heart actually has neurons. The gut has neurons. So everybody thinks, oh, it's all about the brain. That's the people that are stuck. And then the people that probably are criticizing me, but eventually they no longer criticize me because they're no longer with us, right? Do not criticize me because you're criticizing higher, because it's not just me, I'm tapping into higher sources. All right. So I just watched this, and I watched other people that do this, and they're like, don't criticize me. I've seen people do that, and then negative things happen to them. All right. Like I'm talking about, negative things happen to people that criticize me. I'm not saying this from an ego. I do not care if you criticize me. Personally, I do not care. Right. But you're creating a frequency field that is attracting to you what you're criticizing, and then you're going to experience it, right? So again, it's very important to stay in these higher fields of consciousness, like the Earth or the heartmath.org has been putting out for decades now, right? So I've talked about this in a lot of my shows. I talk about this in my intuitive programs that I have, and so forth. So now, every now and then I like to open this information up to the general public. So let's look at, like I said, this LifeWave event that I recently did. It's on YouTube. It's Dr. Stacy and Trey. They have a program, and they invited me to speak at the event that they had. And so I came up and I talked about this. I didn't tell them what I was going to talk about, but they somehow knew, all right? Somehow knew that I was coming out with something really good. So I'm towards the end where a lot of people are talking about energy and so forth. And so, I brought it. A lot of people, enjoyed this quite a bit. So I'm going to share a little bit of this with you. I'm going to bring up the high points. It's about 10 minutes. You can go watch the whole show if you'd like. I would recommend it, actually. So you get so you can pause it and dwell on the things, maybe look a little bit deeper at some of the things that are happening. So here I come up on stage, and then I'm going to start to bring in a couple people up. I'm going to talk about my background. I'm going to push it up to, and this was why you do what you do, for Lifeway, but it's why you do what you do in every aspect of life, quite frankly.
On stage, Michael Jaco.
You must have it on your phone.
Oh, that was perfect. And I was like, oh man, that's a bummer. Derek and Allie. All right, so
I bring a couple of people up on stage, and I've done this quite often, where I show the different frequencies of thought. All right, so thought, love, and I focus on love, and the opposite, which I believe is fear. So strongest force in the universe, love, of course, and then the opposite, the weakest and most negative attracting is fear.
They're going to help me do this muscle testing stuff. So the guys that focused on love when we're fighting, I could see it when they clicked into that. They're the ones that did the best. And the ones that had fear, how many of you have experienced fear? How many of you have experienced love? So we've all experienced fear and love. Which one do you like more?
So which one do you like more? Ask yourself that. I mean, it's very obvious you like love, right? But what happens often, right? So learning how to, when you check yourself, if you're going into fear, going into anger, it took me a while, but if you feel yourself going into one of those emotions, check yourself, calm down, and then go into love. You cannot be in both at the same time, right? So you choose which one you manifest in your reality, which one that you focus on, whether there's something going on in the world and you really focus on. For me, I'm an observer of all things now. I don't let them hook me. When I talk about stuff, yes, I get a little animated sometimes, but I'm focused on what is happening, and I'm staying in that love frequency because it gives me the intuition of how to respond and how to react at the highest level.
Which one is going to help you perform better? So we're going to see what that is, right? So I'll have you guys step up just a little bit more forward, and I'll have you raise your arms.
All right, so this is the muscle testing 101. So they raise their arms. There's different ways to do this. A lot of people have different ways to do this, and they all work very well. This is great for audience and audience participation, as you guys are going to see, and for the people that are coming up experiencing this, because you feel it on a physical realm. Because I could put a patch on you, and you wouldn't know anything about it. For me, when I touched the patch for the first time, the energy enhancer patch, which was designed for the SEAL teams initially, well over 20 years ago, I was like, this is amazing. And then when I wore it, it was like very good energy, very smooth. Just putting the patch on, you're going to burn 500 calories just having a patch on, because it increases your energetic level. So then it gives you energy to perform better. So I knew that. I felt it. And I was like, I gotta use all these patches. So then that's what I do still to this day after close to 4 years. So you're seeing here, your energetic is good. All right. For most people, unless you have an injury or something, I don't bring people up to have injuries, but by pressing on the arms, you're able to resist the pressure that I'm doing. So you watch my hands where I put them, and you can see I'm pressing down on all of these. Good. Good. So we get the male and the female. So usually the man and the woman are pretty similar as far as the energy that I push. I don't change it that much between the man and the woman. So women are just, I mean, of course, if you're lifting weights or something like that, energetically, women are just as strong as men, as I've learned over time. It's very, very intriguing how that is. So you see they're very strong. Now drop your arms. Raise them. Raise your arms. This.
I tried.
So
All right. So there, the only difference is I swept them. From the top of their head down to their feet, I run my hand down, and all it's doing is moving the your energetic being, and I move the energy downward. Now, if I, were to go the other way, they'd be strong the other way. If I lifted their energy field and pressed, they would be like super strong. So all it is just moving the energy one way or the other, and then the arms through muscle testing demonstrates that we are energetic beings, right? So from here on out, if you didn't understand that, there can be no doubt in your mind, right? But some of you will still doubt, and I've done this to people, and they still doubt, and I can't help them, all right? But here is a great viewing of it. You can do this at home. You can have somebody do this, but if you're doing it, you have to do it with good intention, right? If you're doing it to jack around, then it's probably not going to work for you, right? Because I've seen people going, I don't know, and they don't, do the sweep right, and then the muscle, they're strong, right? So you have to do it just like I did. And if you don't understand what that is, just go watch it again. Because I've done this with thousands of people and have the whole group do this, right? And sometimes I have to go around and somebody's like giggling, it doesn't work for me. It's like, and then I see how they do it. And like I said, they do it all half-assed. And then I say, okay, let me show you how to do it. So, all right. So here we are. The energy fields can be moved around. Now, this can happen with all kinds of thoughts. You can be thought provoked into negativity, right? All right. So we've all experienced that. There's been someone that said something bad, mean to us, and we felt bad. And we felt if I did muscle testing on you at that moment, you would be weak. All right. So now I'm going to show just the thought alone is going to impact their energy fields. And it could be food that impacts you. If you eat a lot of sugar, I can muscle test you just after you've eaten a donut or something. You're going to be weak. So all of these things impact us. And we can change those frequencies. Of course, if you ate, nice apple, you're going to be strong. But an apple a day keeps a doctor away, right? So energetic, it's an energetic thing. So sugar, not so good for our bodies. An apple has lots of good things in it. And when we take that in, it strengthens us and makes us more whole.
what was the difference between the first and the second? So first, they're strong.
They have fear.
I weaken you. How?
All right, so I get the audience involvement, so people start to think about this, right? So I'm telling you the way it is, and then we're going to go in. We're going to take it to another level, right?
The consciousness. Yes. All right, so we're going to do it with.
All right, so can consciousness affect your body? And the gentleman on my right, your left, is shaking his head yes, because I talked to him later. He is someone that does muscle testing, and he did it with the water machine, the XUO machine, and he showed a woman with regular water how they're weak, and with the XUO they were strong, and then they drank regular water and he showed them they were weak. They were just holding it, and then they drank the XUO and they were strong. Of course, they went on and bought a XUO water machine from him. But it's incredible. when you see the difference in the vibratory fields that happen. So here's the one where we're going to go into the fear state.
Consciousness, I'm going to sweep them again, and then I'm going to have them focus on love.
All right, so yeah, so no, not yet. So this one is a love. So I'm going to sweep them, physically sweep them. Now, sometimes I have enough time, I will sweep them with my thoughts. And that's the next level. And then there's much, much deeper. I can go into this as well. But I don't even physically sweep them. I just mentally sweep them, and then the arms go down, right? But here I'm going to physically sweep them. They're going to hold the thought of love, and they're going to be strong. So again, the most powerful force in the universe is love. And you're going to see it right here. Focus on love. Just strong.
Yeah. I focus on my wife.
He said he focused on his wife. That was sweet. Grace, focus on love. All right. So you guys saw how strong Allison was there. Very strong. I put just as much as I did on Darren there. I pushed down pretty good. All right. So you can see the different energy fields in each person. That's why I like to have a man and a woman come up. So everyone realizes it's not one sex or the other. It's human. It's a consciousness field. We all affect the consciousness field. So this goes on a little bit more. I'm going to start to talk about probably the fear here. Let me go back a little bit. All right, so this is, I didn't sweep them physically or consciously, and I just have them focus on fear and watch what happens.
Wow.
All right, then very, very little pressure and the arms are down.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
All right, so the fear was strong in that one. All right, so as you guys can see, if you're focused on a negative, as you saw before, both of them were fairly the same. All right, but fear can, really cause, a negative in the human body, and that's why those guys that are angry, which is just maybe a step above fear, and being angry is trying to reach a higher consciousness level from fear, but it's still a great negative. So those guys that are, they're fearful of dying, probably of being shot up or failing in their duties, whatever they're involved in, they're angry, and they've been taught through different, groups and schools and so forth that anger is a good thing. Harness the anger and blah 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 bullshit. All right. As I show in this, whether it's fear, whether it's anger, there's other lower levels of consciousness I have people focused on too that they think is higher than those. They're going to be weak. All right. So there's a little bit different frequencies even below love that are strong, and then there's those that are at peace and oneness with spirit, God, Allah, whatever you want to focus, whatever your your thought process is for that higher source. You focus on that, and then you become super, super strong. So, but love is a frequency that we use quite often, and is very effective. Now, I'm going to have, I believe the next one is where I have the audience send them love after I sweep them.
All right. Thank you guys. Give my hand. Give me a hand.
All right, so both of them are like super strong with the audience sending them love. They just were blank. The audience sent them love, and it had an effect. I know a lot of you pray for people that are sick, have problems, and so forth. and it does have an impact, guys. I've been involved with prayer groups where we have healed people, and like within 12 hours or less, and they were scheduled to basically die. So it can have a very positive effect, and of course, that's going to work only on somebody that does not want to die, that would like to stay here. So and they had cancer in their body, all kind of crazy stuff, and it was gone, right? So yes, love, thoughts, and so forth are very, very powerful. And as you guys saw, it does have an effect. Now, the next one is I bring up a gentleman, Trey, who is Dr. Stacy's son. He's 21. He's building a business like I am. He's a 3-star executive, so he's high up there. He's built it off of social media, like I have done. All right. So, and I talk about how when I was a Navy SEAL and I went through Hell Week, my Hell Week started on my 21st birthday. So very similar, both of us. Of course, he's a big guy. I like to bring up the big guys usually first so that everybody can see, how effective these frequencies are. Even on the biggest guy, I've done guys bigger than Trey, a lot bigger than Trey. 250 pounds of 6'5" muscle, and they're weak when I sweep them. They're weak when I mentally sweep them, on and on and on. So and then of course I have them focus on love or whatever, and they're like they're even way stronger than they already are. So it's really cool. So this is what you're going to see with Trey.
First, so you guys can see that weakness thing is real, right? So anyone can manipulate the body, and I'm gonna do that with Trey right now.
Now, I'm a big guy, but Trey is a lot bigger. So you're going to see that when I sweep him, he's going to be weak. Now, you can look at him, he's like, he'd probably pick up a horse and run with it, carry a horse. It would surprise me if I saw that, but, you're going to see that this affects everyone. And if you listen closely, you can hear his muscles were popping. So he was resisting. So now what I'm going to do is this is the first time I've ever done it. That's why I wanted to have it at the end. I take out the LifeWave patches. I take out the X39 and the Eon. Remember, they're built with love. They're love frequency. They're helping your body to stay in these zones of consciousness. So those of you that are having problems with this, I've had many people, I could just go on and on many times, that have used some of these patches, and it's changed their thought patterns that they've had since they were children. And they've had better thought patterns, have better lives going forward, and so forth. So it's definitely bringing in that frequency that I'm demonstrating here. So you don't have to go through, well, you still do to a certain extent, but you're not having to struggle through, because a lot of us are programmed, struggle through that programming in that environment, which is constantly beating on us, a negativity. You're putting on something that's very positive, and it's helping you to align with that frequency a lot better. And that's one of the reasons why I believe I was attracted to, promoting LifeWave.
Wow. All right. I've never done this before, but I tried this with my wife. Not that, but
there's some people giggling in the audience, of course. This is a mature audience, so they find funny and everything. So not that. So I tried the patches with my wife. She came up with this idea. So why don't you use the patches and show, a muscle test with those? And I was like, well, let me muscle test with you first to make sure I don't get out there and embarrass myself. But I felt very strongly that it would work, and it did. So it worked really well. So now you're going to see. So this is the first time that I have used the patches in a live audience to show that the patches are amazing. So I'm giving a patch for each hand. I'm going to sweep him again, and then we're going to see, you know, how strong he is.
I'm going to sweep him one more time. He's got an Eon and X39. Let's see what it does. So what's cool about Trey, 21.
All right, so that's pretty amazing. So I could probably have physically hung from one of those arms. He was so powerful after that patch came on. So this is the value of the LifeWave patch. You guys know that I've promoted these for quite some time. Now you're physically seeing with your own eyes that it is very valuable. Wearing these patches is amazing. It helps you in many different ways. Now, right now, there is last day. We've been promoting this before. This is the last day that you can get free Eon patches. So remember, in one of his hands was an Eon patch, which is great for your physicality on a lot of different levels. Your inflammation is reduced, for a lot of people. Can't say that's going to happen for everybody, of course, because this is still a controlled environment by Big Pharma. But if you use it, it's going to help your neuron function as well. Like I talked about, I've had a lot of people that have had incredible results with the Eon patch. So here is the special, last day for the special. Eon ends today, midnight tonight will be the last that you can get the special if you're not signed up with LifeWave yet. So if you sign up with an advanced, which is kind of like the couples, if you're a couple, a male and female, or whatever, right? So you can come in and you're each going to get patches and so forth. You're also going to get one free sleeve of Eon. And then Advanced Plus, you're going to get more patches. Each time you advance up, you get 2 free sleeves. And as a premium, 3. Wow, that's a great value. And let's look at, how you can tap into that. So you go to my website, which is LifeWave Michael Jaco, and you're going to see probably this picture. And that was actually a LifeWave event, that free trip down to Mexico that my wife Tracy and I won. We've won all the LifeWave events since we've been in the business. So we've had lots of people on our team. So not only is it great for you personally, but it's also great, of course, sharing it and getting the benefit from sharing, because you get rewarded for sharing. All right. So if you go to this, of course, you got the X2O, which is the newest and greatest, is infusing light into the water. Really makes the patches work a lot better. You hit shop and it's going to bring up, nope, not that one. Sorry. Let's go back. If you hit join my team. So join my team, welcome to LifeWave, and it's going to give you some insights about the patches. There's great ways to enroll. Like I said, advanced is like the couples where you get 6 sleeves of LifeWave X39 or X49. You can get a couple each, and then a bunch of other patches. And the way you do that is when you click on the join, you can do that. So Advanced Plus, Premium, of course, you're going to get the most patches at the best deal. You're not going to get any other time. There's also Retail Customer, Preferred Customer, and Preferred Customer Plus. So you click to join as a brand. Let's say you're coming in as a couple, and make sure you're not a robot. And it's going to give you, at the advanced level, it's going to give you 1 Eon. At the Advanced Plus, 2 Eon. And at the premium level, it's going to give you 3. So it'll start you out with a certain number of LifeWave X39. You can decrease that. Let's say we're going to decrease it to the point where for 6, you're going to get 6 of them. So that's going to last you 3 months. and then you'll need to get some more. But patches, you hit to click on the patches, and you go in the energy patches, add those. You see this line down here where it's orange. You can keep adding patches, different patches, until that moves over to the point where it turns green. So lots of great ways to get in and use the patches, the water machine. There's people that come in and get the premium and get the water machine and just go big. And then they're coming to our Miracle Monday event and tell us about the great results they have. So it's great to use these. If you're on medications and so forth, it's great to use them. Check with your doctor, whatever. And if you're with a naturopath, a lot of naturopaths will understand this energy field stuff much better. But we actually have doctors on our team as well. So the doctors, give you the okay. Yep, it's just it's not putting anything in your body. It's just a patch on the surface. What can that hurt? Never has it hurt anyone ever. Right? So you put the patch on, your energy field, like I showed you there in the video, is streaming out around you. If you're heart-based, it's streaming out pretty good. All right. But whether it's streaming out, you're focused on negative things or negative things happen in your life, or you have problems with your body, whatever, you put these patches on, and some people are like, I never felt anything. And it's like, did you see that video where I pushed down on Trey's arms? It works right away. You get it near your body, 6 inches close to your body. You don't even have to have it, on your skin. You can put it on your clothing. Some people do that, and it's going to have the same, magnificent effects. Right. So putting the patches on your body, the heat from your body, your energy fields will hit what's in that patch. And it's made with natural things, of course, crystalline structures and plants and so forth that will create a frequency that reflects back to your body and turns on what it needs to turn on your body, depending on what patch you're using. X39, along with Celergize AM, is activating your stem cells, which start to decrease the moment you're born. Sort of decreasing the moment you're born, and as you age more and more, they decrease more and more. So all of these things are available to you. It's a great time to get in it. Look at that video. It's in the description box. Look at, the patches on my website, michaelkjaco.com. There's a LifeWave, area over there. And of course, LifeWave Michael Jaco is my LifeWave specific website. All right, guys. As we move forward, you're going to need to be in these higher states of consciousness. You're going to need to stay there more often, right? And ideally, always, right? LifeWave patches and water machine and Celergize are going to help you stay there for longer periods of time, and maybe even overcome a lot of things that have been happening. Maybe you've been deteriorating in a lot of different ways, in certain ways. Big Pharma doesn't like for me to talk about all these great things, but that get turned around. But there's a lot of things get turned around for a lot of people, as you guys could see. An energy field, and if you're having problems with your body, then your energy field is going to be, taken to a more beneficial level, and things that are happening negatively to your body are going to start to turn around. For some people, they put the patch on, they get instant results. Some people don't see the results till later, but again, you get near that patch, 6 inches. That patch is working on you guys, right? And again, go back if you still don't understand. Watch what happens with Trey, all right? All right, lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, and I will see you guys next time.